What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode is going to be slightly similar to the one that I did a couple weeks ago, where I talked about the Cruiserweight Classic. This one, the Mae Young Classic, and why it should make a return. So the Mae Young Classic, it was a tournament that WWE had announced back in 2017, and from what I remember, WWE had announced this. What the hell? Oh. Sorry about that, guys. My phone went off. Anyway, so from what I remember, WWE had announced this. I believe the first time was at a press conference during the weekend of WrestleMania 33 when it took place in Orlando. Excuse me. And the tournament would take place in the summer of 2017 with 32 superstars competing in it. And it was also announced that it would involve superstars from NXT as well as superstars from the independent circuit, and it would air on the WWE Network back when the WWE Network was actually around, especially here in the U.S. Again, big shout outs. Don't want to get copyrighted. You know how this works. The event was named in honor of Mae Young, who passed away who passed away a while ago. If I remember correctly, yeah, it was back in January of 2014. So right before before the Royal Rumble, but yeah, again, it was named after her, who is considered one of the pioneers of women's wrestling, one of the first few women to compete to wrestle in a ring, and the first tournament was won by Kairi Sane when she defeated Shayna Baszler. The second tournament was announced, and it would also feature superstars from NXT and also from the independent circuit as well. But this also features superstars that were going to be a part of NXT UK, which feature women like Killer Kelly, Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, Meiko Satomura. I'm trying to remember. Isla Dawn, Ginny, just to name a few. I think Zara Brookside, if I remember right. And the finals was scheduled for WWE's first and only all-women's pay-per-view known as Evolution back in October of 2018, and Toni Storm ended up winning it. However, unfortunately, in August of 2019, Triple H actually confirmed the third edition of the tournament. It was supposed to have been planned, but in October, tickets went on sale for a little bit. However, the posting was later removed, and the tournament never took place. As to why, no one knows. Nobody knows why, but I've got a speculation. I've got an idea of why. I think it might be because of the pandemic. Given the fact that we were still given the fact that we were we were going to be under the pandemic, I feel like as if that could have been the case, because you guys know this whole thing started last year, back in December of 2019. So I feel like as if the tournament would have made things a little bit more worse, in my opinion, but that's just one man's opinion. But there could be other reasons. But obviously the winner of the Mae Young Classic would be awarded a trophy made in the likeness of the event's logo for that year. However, between Kairi Sane and Toni Storm, Kairi was the only one that was awarded a match for the NXT Women's Championship, and Toni Storm did not receive that title opportunity because she went over to because she went over to NXT UK and competed and challenged for the NXT UK Women's title. And it's interesting because both tournaments, as far as like the first round, the second round, the quarterfinals, and then the semifinals, as far as those 4 rounds go, they all took place inside Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. However, the finals of the first tournament took place at the Thomas and Mack Center in Paradise, Nevada. So right around Vegas, right around Vegas. And Kairi Sane again defeated Shayna Baszler. The Mae Young Classic for 2018 took place at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. At Evolution, Toni Storm defeated Io Shirai. Now I'm going to show you guys the participants from the 2017 from the 27 from the first tournament. So the first tournament featured representing. So they're from several different countries. There were a lot of women representing the U.S. There was only one representing South Korea, two representing Scotland, one representing New Zealand, one representing Mexico, one Japan, one India, one Germany, one England, one Dominican Republic, two China, one Brazil, and two Australia. So the two that were representing Australia were obviously Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm. Representing Brazil was none other than Tainara Conti, who's now I think a part of AEW. I've heard rumors about that, but I've heard a lot of I've heard some interesting things about it, honestly. But from China we have Xia Li and Zeta. Representing the Dominican Republic was obviously Marty Bell, who was a part of TNA for quite a while, actually, back in the day. Representing England was Aisha Raymond. Jazzy Gabber representing Germany. Kavita Devi, the first Indian female to compete in WWE. Kairi Sane, again, representing Japan, the initial winner. Princesa Suhei from Mexico. Dakota Kai representing New Zealand. This was back when she had, the pigtails and and whatnot. So yeah. Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven representing Scotland. Mia Yim obviously representing South Korea, even though she's from here in California, in Fontana. And then of course from the US we had Abby Lath, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Lacey Evans, Mercedes Martinez, Miranda Salinas, Nicole Savoy, Rachel Evers, Reina Gonzalez, or Raquel Gonzalez, I guess. Renee Michelle, who is actually the wife of Drake Maverick, of all people. Sage Beckett. Santana Garrett, Sarah Logan, Serena Deeb, Shayna Baszler, Tessa Blanchard, yes, Tessa Blanchard of all people, and Vanessa Bourne. There were a couple things that I wanted to show off with this one because we were supposed to have had Tegan Knox, who was representing Wales, be in the tournament, but because of her ACL injury, which obviously took place right during training before the tournament started, Miranda Salinas ended up taking her place, and then there were a few alternates. So originally, we were supposed to have had Barbie Hayden representing the U.S. I guess these were the alternates in case if anybody was injured. So we had Barbie Hayden representing the U.S., Deonna Purrazzo representing the U.S., Jessica James from the U.S., Lady Tapa, representing Tonga, and then of course Nicole Matthews representing Canada. I think they ended up being a part of the second one, but it's interesting because when you think about it, the tournament was pretty stacked. We literally got to see matches that we never thought possible. Obviously, Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li. We got to see Tessa Blanchard versus Kairi Sane, and sadly Tessa Blanchard got eliminated. We got to see Mae Young versus Shayna Baszler. And then, of course, to the finals, we got to see Shayna versus Kairi, which that was a hell of a rivalry. And the 2018 one was actually kind of interesting because the 2018 one was a little bit more stacked, like really stacked. Like extremely stacked, and the women who participated in the 2018 one, so we had Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm both representing Australia, Tainara Conti representing Brazil, Nicole Matthews and Vanessa Craven representing Canada, Zatara representing Chile, Xia Li representing China, Ginny and Xia Brookside representing England, Kavita Devi again representing India, Hiroyo Matsumoto. I know that I butchered the first name, but Io Shirai and Meiko Satomura all representing Japan. For some reason, it says Toni Storm was representing New Zealand. Truth be told, from what I remember, Storm was born in New Zealand. From the research that I read, of course, but she's actually currently residing in Australia. Kelly Kelly representing Portugal. Isla Dawn representing Scotland, and then representing the U.S. we have Big Swole, who I believe is who also got signed to AEW from what I remember. Allison Kay, Madison Rayne or Ashley Rayne, I think was the name that they went with. Deanna Purrazzo, Jessica Elaban, who I believe is now going under Jessica McKay or something like that. Casey Catanzaro, Caitlyn, Karen Q, Lacey Lane or Kaden Carter for those who don't watch NXT now. Kaden Carter or Lacey Lane for that matter. MJ Jenkins, Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim, Priscilla Kelly, Rachel Evers, Raquel Gonzalez, and of course Tegan Knox. Tegan Knox was finally able to compete in the tournament. There was no add-ins or anything like that. But the tournament bracket, as far as the time limit went, the first round would go up to 15 minutes. Second one would go round 2 would be 20 minutes. Round 3 would be 25 minutes, and then by the time we got to the semifinals, there was no time limit, no time limit whatsoever. And unfortunately, Tegan Knox actually made it all the way to the quarterfinals before getting re-injured at the hands of Rhea Ripley, and then it came down to 4 women: Meiko Satomura, Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai. Ripley got eliminated by Shirai. Excuse me. Meiko Satomura got eliminated by Storm, and it came down to those two, Shirai and Storm. Storm picking up a massive victory over Storm. I feel like this tournament should make a comeback this year because obviously now we're already we're already getting past the pandemic. Everybody's getting their shots. Myself included. I'm actually getting mine. I think Wednesday. But if the tournament were to come back, I feel the same way for the Cruiserweight Classic. Have superstars from NXT, NXT UK, and of course other promotions. Like potentially Ring of Honor, New Japan, maybe TNA if WWE were to score a deal with them. I think this tournament needs to come back because think about it. Because the 2018 tournament, we got to see women we never thought we would ever see. We got to see, Ginny, Xia Brookside, Kavita Devi, Isla Dawn, Madison Rayne or Ashley Rayne, Deanna Purrazzo, Mia Yim, who's now a part of SmackDown from what I remember. Priscilla Kelly, Rachel Evers, who is actually the daughter of the legendary manager Paul Ellering, Raquel Gonzalez, who is now the NXT Women's Champion, Tegan Knox, who's still out with an injury because of obviously has been taken out with an injury because of obviously, you guessed it, Candice LeRae. But there's no doubt in my mind that once Tegan Nox returns, there's no doubt that she's going to be targeting Candice LeRae. She's going to target her and completely destroy her when she returns. But yeah. If the tournament were to come back, we could very may well see women that we never thought would come back to WWE. You know, potentially Tessa Blanchard, maybe Big Swole. You know, potentially Tainara. You know, we might even also see TNA champion Jordan Grace. I've heard a lot of really good. I've heard a lot of good things about her. I heard she's pretty good. I haven't watched. Trust me, guys. I haven't watched TNA in years. It's been years since I watched TNA. But if WWE were to bring this back, bring the tournament back, it can give a lot of these promotions, you know, hype. It can hype up the promotions that the women are a part of, you know. So for instance, if WWE were to bring in, like, say, Jordan Grace, who's a part of TNA, that would give the fans the idea to, you know, of hey, this is Jordan Grace. She's a part of TNA. She's good. Why don't we watch TNA? Or it could be the same for, you know, it can also be the same for Ring of Honor, New Japan, and if given the chance, which I don't think it will, potentially AEW, but potentially AEW, maybe that one woman. I can't think of her name. Nyla Rose, I think is her name. I don't know, but yeah, it can give the fans an idea of what these women can do, and the winner would get a title shot against any champion that they desire, not just one championship. You know, not a title, not a shot at just one title. It could be any title that she desires. It could be the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, the NXT Women's title, the NXT UK Women's title, the WWE Women's Tag titles, or the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, depending on her preference. It could really do a lot for women's wrestling, because let's not forget, because think about it, even though we have not gotten the Mae Young Classic in a while, by bringing it back, we could potentially have another all women's pay-per-view in which the finals could take place there. It could very may well, which is a very high possibility, and I think if that were to happen, again, if the tournament were to take place, we can get an even better, in my opinion, a better variety of women, and you know, from more promotions, and not just like promotions like Evolve, which now I think they were bought out by WWE. Again, more promotions for WWE to work with means more talent to showcase in tournaments like the Mae Young Classic, like the Cruiserweight Classic. Show up to NXT, show up to Raw. I have no words for it. I have no words for it, but I think it's an awesome idea to bring back the Mae Young Classic, because of how incredible women's wrestling has become since the second tournament. And given the fact that Toni Storm was a part of both tournaments, you know damn well that if there was another tournament, you know Toni Storm is going to be a part of it. You know Rhea Ripley's going to be a part of it. You know Io Shirai, potentially we can even also see Kairi Sane return as well. And she left WWE last year. She left WWE only as a active as an active roster. But I believe she's now in Japan as WWE's Japanese ambassador, actually, if I remember right. But guys, that is going to do it for this episode. Question of the day: should the WWE bring back the Mae Young Classic? Let me know in the comments below. Again, question of the day: should the WWE bring back the Mae Young Classic, and why? Comment below your thoughts. That is going to do it for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which gets posted every Monday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All links will be down in the description. And if you guys have fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.